Hey everyone, welcome to the Topherspin Meteorite Crew Hangout for June 17th, 2020. I know today's date without looking at the calendar because it's my beautiful wife's birthday, so happy birthday, Sue.
Happy birthday, Sue.
Oh man, we got the crowd here. So we're just getting started here. Oh, good. Everyone's populating. This is fantastic. We have Donald Hurd, Fred McPherson. I'm going to actually mute Fred because we switched to his camera. Cameron is with us. And Mike Kelly, staying busy as always. Pat Brown from Santa Clara. And Guy Laforte and Daniel Shake. Good. Got a good little crowd joining us today. Does anyone have a story to tell? I'll tell a quick story about the shirt I'm wearing. Why do I have a crack addict on my shirt? Y'all got any more meteorites? This was a gift from one of my meteorite buddies, Matthew Stream from Streaming Meteorites. So it's got rocks on the back. So he gave this to me at the Meteorite Mansion down in Tucson. So pretty cool little gift. All right, I have a box of stuff that I can show off unless someone wants to show some stuff off. I came prepared. The hangouts and the video hangouts that we're doing, and also the live sale that I did. I'm posting them on YouTube, and they're gaining a lot of traction. I'm getting a lot of people watching the meteorite videos probably for the first time, because there's not a whole lot of media out there on YouTube for meteorites, unless you watch reruns of the Meteorite Men. What else do you guys watch on YouTube, or how do you, like, if you wanted to binge watch some meteorite stuff or some science stuff, what do you guys do?
Usually I hit a book.
Let me see here. Pat, were you trying to talk but muted? Oh.
Yeah, I usually hit a book.
No. Yeah.
My internet might be unstable.
Okay. Well, we'll deal with that then.
There were a couple of like lectures that were posted. I think it was like the British Meteorite Society or something like that had done a couple of lectures that I had watched, which are pretty cool, on chondrites and chondrules and other things like that. But you're right, there's definitely not a ton of stuff out there.
Yeah, unless you watch the reality show type stuff. I mean, it's still interesting and it's good, but yeah, I did watch a video, and it was really weird because I was watching the video and the name came on the screen. I'm like, I know that guy. Like, and this is when I was like first getting involved in meteorites, and my wife's like, you don't know that guy, you just think you know, like you think you know everyone all of a sudden. Well, it was Ron, and I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Hrac, H-R-A-C or something like that. I don't know if anyone knows who I'm talking about, but he was at a Colorado astronomy talk, or maybe it was a Utah astronomy talk. It was a really, really cool presentation, and I actually took a bunch of screen grabs because he gave a lot of stats as far as meteorite falls and meteorite data. But the data is always kind of twisted, because if someone asks you what percentage of meteorites that fall are chondrites, well, are you talking weight, or are you talking about number of falls? So that was one thing that he had different slides on that gave percentages, not only of meteorites broken down by categories like irons, stonies, chondrites, and pallasites, and achondrites, like lunars and Martians, but he also broke them down by number of falls and then by a different chart by weight, which was pretty cool. So I may have to hit him up and see if I can't steal some of those slides that he had. But yeah, that was a good YouTube video on meteorites that I learned from.
Topher, where the universities are doing, video classes or online classes, what's the chance we might be able to get access to videos from one of the materials classes?
Your audio, your bandwidth is really terrible today, but what we got out of that was everything but the last 10 seconds. So with the COVID shutdown and everyone going to e-learning, what is the likelihood of us asking some academic institutes that maybe we're tight with for some media that they may have? Some either we talking about just data like charts and stuff that we can share.
Topher.
Yeah, or even just videos of classes.
Fred?
I actually attended one of Ron's lectures in Denver a couple of years ago at the Denver Gem and Mineral Show, and I talked to Ron, and he sent me his complete presentation, all the slides and everything. I use a lot of it in my outreach programs that I do with schools and different service clubs in Canada. So I can forward actually to you his whole presentation if you'd like.
If you have his permission to do that, please do that.
I do. I'll do. I'll get it to you tomorrow. That
is awesome, and that's the exact video I'm talking about. Maybe not the exact day you attended, but it was the Denver Gem Society or something. I remember it was in Colorado and it was something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a really good lecture, and it's really weird that I know the dude. Hey, Mike, how are you, buddy?
Doing all right, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, man, feeling good, looking good. Got my
you looking good.
Got my crack rock shirt on.
There you go.
Y'all got any more meteorites?
Yeah. I was representing Mafia Meteors yesterday.
Nice.
Meteor Mafia yesterday.
Yeah, the Meteorite Mafia is spoken for. There's all kinds of things that are taken for. The Meteorite Club I just started calling this the Meteorite Crew. Topherspin Meteorite Crew. I don't, sue me. I don't care. So.
I mean, those shirts are great. I'm getting a lot of comments on them.
Yeah, you know what I'm thinking about doing is just throwing them out there on eBay as well, because they're pretty cool logos. I mean, the logo stands on its own. I love the logo. Even if it wasn't mine, I'd still love it.
Still feeling bad about selling that Shelly?
For selling which one?
The Chelyabinsk, the
Russian... that Chely? Yeah. I still have it. I can show it off to you guys.
Good idea.
Yeah. One of my favorite meteorites is Chelyabinsk, because it's the most. By the way, guys, I will continue to talk unless you guys raise your hand or interrupt me. I want this as free flowing as possible, but I also don't want there to be dead air. Dead air. No. So Chelyabinsk is the most witnessed, documented fall in human history. Super bolide event, effects on the ground and everything. I have touched thousands of Chelyabinks. I have owned hundreds of counting P's, I've owned thousands, but I've owned hundreds of Chelyabinks. This is the most beautiful Chelyabinks I've ever owned. I've sold it this morning or yesterday, and the gentleman's on vacation for 2 weeks, so he asked me to hold it for 2 weeks and then send it to him. So lucky for us, we get to scope it out. Let me grab my gloves because I don't own this. This particular specimen is 72.15 grams. So 72 grams, and shows obvious signs of orientation. It has the glossiest, blackest Chelyabinsk crust that I've seen. Yeah, it's for the cell phone.
Not quite the Michael Jackson glove.
So this is by far the best Chelyabinks that I've had the fortune to have in my hands. So I should have actually. Oh, also, pinkies are good for opening up. Oh man, because I'll sit here and get frustrated with this damn thing. Okay, so here she is. I have it labeled as Chelyabinks 72.15 grams, oriented with rollover black glossy fusion crust. So let me switch over to this other camera, and you guys can join me in this scoping this puppy out. Oh, and check out my new stickers. Oh man, it's hard to do a trackball with these gloves on. Holy mackerel! I got a pinky. These gloves are not going to last. I'll tell you right now. Okay, so that's my new stickers.
I like it.
They don't even have to put my brand name on there. I thought the logo was so cool. I was just like, screw it. Just put the logo on there. Don't be so terrestrial, man.
Nice Finman statement.
Yeah, that's I think that's a little bit of Alte in the background. So this is
Oh, wow.
the puppy. And let me find the focal point. Hold on. Okay.
You may need to move the sticker.
Yeah, that's what we did last time.
Get you with him.
Oh, come on. It's not gonna. Okay, let me do it like this. All right, let me try this a different way, guys. I apologize. This always works perfectly.
It's fine. Dark.
Look at that.
Topher, you could just say that the crust is just so jet black that the camera can't focus on it.
Yeah, seriously. Well, Chelyabinks is so hard to photograph, honestly. But look at that, 100% just oriented. This crust right here that rolls over the side is just sick.
Is that a Rigma clip, I guess?
Yeah, that's a negative. This is the negative
Bottom.
pressure side here.
Mm-hmm.
And you do have nice internal matrix with breccia. Look at that crust. Look at how thick that crust is on top.
It almost looks like a face with a dark helmet on it. If you hold it up more.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is the highest quality Chelyabinks that I've been fortunate enough to own, and I will use it in my marketing. That's one of the great things about owning these things. With my provenance on it, I get to at least continue to, with the purchaser's permission, use it for my marketing. But most people do not mind having their meteorite displayed for the world to see. Yeah. So that is the Chelyabinks that I so now I got to get this glove off. I can. All right. So that was
Hey,
that.
Topher, sticking with Chelyabinsk, So anyone who doesn't know about it, there's a phenomenon known as snow carrots, which was an effect since Chelyabinsk.
Your audio's
Audio's
breaking up a little bit.
This a little better?
Yeah.
Keep talking.
Yeah. So they found these snow carrots. So what I tried to do is I tried to recreate, based off some of the pictures in the research papers, what the snow carrots look like and how the actual meteorites punched in, created a hollow tube, and then created this solid snow carrot.
That is wild.
And I got a couple of display and stick right down on the bottom there.
That is cool. What material did you make that out of?
It's just made out of expanded polystyrene.
Huh.
So I still have to go ahead and coat it with some fake snow, make it look a little better.
That is wild. I like extra little things like that. Now that I have my glove off, I can control the cameras pretty easily. So watch this. Check this out. Sticking with Chelyabinsk, we got
Your glossy photos.
yeah, big glossy ones. But what this also has is exactly what you're talking about. I never heard them referred to as snow carrots before, but they absolutely do look like carrots. So these are a bunch of peas. Here's
Oh, cool.
what was just found. But that just now that's not the 72 gram one I just showed you. It looks like it, but it's not.
Looks like it, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to clarify. As I'm looking at it, I'm going, damn, I could actually no, but it's not.
No.
You can see where it
Nice.
punched through the snow. They're taking GPS. Then the I don't know if that's not the main mass, but that's the hole in the lake.
Wow.
I wonder if that is the main mass. Photo to meteorite. No, 222 grams. Definitely not the main mass, folks. But there's the hole it punched in the lake. And then another one just as it was found. Well, let me put my thumb on his thumb.
Can I ask you a question regarding from a collector's perspective? If all things being the same, if you have two Shelleys, would you prefer, I guess it all depends on your preference, but would you prefer a full piece that hasn't been sliced? Or would you prefer something that's been sliced? Maybe Shelley's not a good example because there's so much crust on it. It looks better when it's a full piece. But take any popular NWA, anything that, would you prefer a full piece or would you prefer a slice so you can see the inside? From a collector's perspective, is it just a matter of preference or what do you guys think?
Why choose?
What's that?
Yeah, don't choose. Go with both.
Go with both, right? Actually, get the full and get a slice so you can see what the inside's like.
If you need Chelly, you need a full oriented, a full melt, a sliced melt, and then I think you're covered.
Yeah, and then lay them all out together. Okay.
Yeah, I'm of, if money's no issue and space is no issue, yes, I would like one of each. The best of everything all thrown together is a sexy little end cut.
That's okay.
And with end cuts, you're not losing as much weight either. So from a dealer's perspective, I enjoy end cuts because it's less cutting, less polishing, less waste, less transactions, and someone actually gets a more substantial size sample.
Okay. Makes sense.
And Chili's really affordable. I mean, I collect on a real small budget. I'm mostly a micro guy just because of, keeping it on a good budget. You can get some good chilies out there for a decent price.
Yeah, I was actually just looking at Topher's inventory as well. So
Yeah,
I don't want to make this purchase night. That's not the purpose of the evening, but
No, hey, it's not Met Club anymore. It's Topher Spin, so we can sell all we want. No, I don't want it to turn into sales, but no, but just to show you that, yeah, these are the peas. Now I have them in different sizes. Point a quarter gram, a third a gram, half a gram, 70.75, and there were a lot of little ones out there. And I by no stretch have a lot when you consider what fell. So how many pieces were there? Like when this thing super bolited and just blew to crap 19 miles in the sky and just ran, I mean, tens of thousands of pebbles. And some big hunks. I got to put this away.
Presumably they're still finding them, are they?
Yeah, my Chelyabinsk hunter still goes out and hunts them and finds them. However, they're getting sparser. They're more brown because of the oxidation. So the longer they've been out there, the longer they oxidize, the browner they get sometimes. And also the hunting period is so short. It's only like a 3.5 month hunting period that they can actually hunt for the meteorites. Now, what my guy did before Chelyabinsk happened is he is the type of guy in Russia. There needs to be a type of guy who keeps things running. They can't run down to the auto parts store every time and get a machine part. So it was his job to basically keep stuff running. He would buy lawnmowers, tractors, forklift, whatever he had to, and kind of Frankenstein stuff together and get things running. Well, as soon as Chelyabinsk happened, he said, you know what, I can probably design something behind my tractor to be really, really exponentially more efficient than what everyone else is doing. And he won't tell me what it is, but he does it, and it works for him. So more power to him. And that's one of his main things he's done since Chelyabinsk to earn extra money. Besides selling me 25 windows. I've imported 25 complete frames and glass windows from Chelyabinsk that were victims of the sonic blast.
They've been selling well?
I actually have sold all of them. Yeah, they were sold to someone is trying to get them into let's say like a
museum,
like a Hard Rock Cafe type line of restaurants type thing. Ripley's, believe it or not. Yeah, I guess Ripley's has restaurants or maybe they have museums or something like that. So that was the plan. I don't know really how it's going. I saw one go on auction overseas and sold it for a lot more than I bought it for. But no, honestly, he did a real good job of presenting it, because these windows were in the cold Siberia of Chelyabinsk, Russia, for the last 10 or 17 years or something. So yeah, no, 7 years. What am I saying? Yeah. So they've been out there getting weathered, and yeah, so to actually put a nice black brass plate in them and name them up real. Plus, you had to find the glass and put it back in. So.
All right, so Meteorite Mansion 2000, I guess it would be 2021. Is that happening?
Yeah, I have the for those that are watching on YouTube, my company Topherspin Meteorites rented a mansion. I don't know, it was like 3,000 square foot, maybe 3,500 square foot house right on the edge of Tucson and the Sonoran National Desert, whatever it is, sanctuary. But we're way out there. And we call it the Meteorite Mansion. We had some dealer friends come in, had a lot of my clients, no, friends, my friends that buy meteorites from me were all there. And it was fantastic. We can go to the show during the day, the Tucson Rock and Gem Mineral and Meteorite Show, which is like a month-long thing. And then after the show is over, instead of going back to your Motel 6 and sitting by yourself, everyone comes back to the Meteorite Mansion. And we just all congregate there. We had, I think, 5 microscopes. 3 of them were pretty high quality lab microscopes. And we had a lapidary saw and also a lapidary machine. What was it called? Yeah, just a lap machine, a finisher. So
Flat lap.
yeah, thank you, a wet lap. So what we could really do is go hunting during the day at the show, looking for something special, looking for something odd, looking for the oddballs out there, see if we can score something. Go back to the Meteorite Mansion, cut it open, look at it microscopically. We even had an XRF there for a few days where you can do chemical analysis. But that was not ours. That was Dustin Dickens from Top Meteorites. He brought that, and we're really, really happy that he did that for us. But this year coming up, yes, I have the house reserved.
Sweet.
They didn't even put it on Airbnb. It just wasn't even listed. They just put us right down.
Nice.
So what we really need to do is pick out some dates that we're looking to do it. Yeah, so we just got to pick dates, and I'm going to scale it back because last year was just out of control for me. The gift bags were they were awesome, and it was the inaugural one, and I'm glad I did it. But like everyone's gift bag had like $120 worth of stuff, and it was all customized, and it was just a lot. So this year we're going to scale back. We're still going to have all the science equipment. We're still going to have, a saw, a lap. We're going to have all that, but we're just going to have it a little bit more low key, not planned barbecues and big things like that, more of just pizza delivery. So it should be a lot easier for everyone.
Cool.
So that being said, look online, or actually you can look online on my page. I actually posted a link to the dates, but we need to figure out what dates we want, and then what dates people are going to be there, and start filling in bedrooms. So that's the plan. So those who are interested in staying at the Meteorite Mansion, feel free to work with me, or maybe I'll put up a post about information on that, and we'll get some feedback. Yeah, because last year, yeah, we had Kyle there last year. We had Fred was there last year. Cameron was there. Mike Kelly, not Mike Markowitz. We got to get him there this next year.
Gotta get there. I gotta get there this year.
It was really a good time because not only did oh, look at this
Mansion swag.
Yeah, I am so proud of those lanyards because they had everything we needed. Everyone got a lanyard with with not only an eye loop on it, but that's the magnet that I use to test everything. So there's a little clipper there that you put your magnet on. So you walk into your place, and every time the Meteorite crew would come into a place, we'd all have matching lanyards, matching eye loops, testing things with magnets. Our pricing went down. These aren't tourists, folks. Thanks for sharing that with us, man. That is awesome.
You should make sure you stream it for us on the other side of the Atlantic.
Yeah, I actually do. I'm very fortunate. I live in Phoenix. We're in Chandler, right outside Phoenix. So Tucson's only about an hour and 20-minute, hour and a half drive. And I'm pretty connected with most of the Meteorite people there, whether they're coming in from from Africa or from Europe, or if they're just local people. So what I usually do, and you'll see these, I'm going to be posting them more and more on, I have them recorded, but I'm going to be posting them on my YouTube page. Every year for the last 2 or 3 years, I go there, I go into each of the big dealers' rooms, like Ann Black with Empatica, Michael Farmer's room, God, I'm blanking out right now, but I just go Blaine Reed's room, as long as you don't get him on camera. And I basically go around and give a guided tour of everything that that dealer has to offer. And it's quite literally a virtual tour, Donald. So if you're watching it, you can really feel like you're there. And it's odd because most of the dealers are like, just, I don't want to be on video, do it, because they know it's free marketing for them, and they appreciate what I do, but they don't want to be on, they don't want to have anything to do with it. Just leave me in the background. Before you know it, they're pulling out stuff and they're showing it off, and like, oh, you did you see this over here? I got this one over here. Yeah, so they absolutely enjoy it too.
That's cool.
Topher, I could speak to it because I watched almost every one of your live Facebook feeds. And I really got the sense of what the whole show is like. I mean, they gave you such free range too. So you could tell that they allowed you to go into the cabinets and just kind of take a closer look. You could put the camera right on it. Yeah, I was kind of living vicariously through you that entire
Thank you.
time.
Yeah.
It was really, really good.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm glad you point that out, the special access, because it's not just, hey, I'm there, I'm in Tucson, and I'm gonna narrate as I walk around. Because the dealers know who I am and I'm reputable myself, they have no problem turning their back on me, letting me open cabinets that aren't meant to be open, giving me the key to them, letting me pick up whatever I want and show it off to the camera. I mean, priceless. I mean, they have price tags on them, but they're priceless artifacts that could be ruined if they're dropped. Just rare things. So yeah, so going in and picking up a $5,000 slice and showing it off rather than just zooming in on the shelf like everyone else is definitely an added advantage. So it gives it a more personal and interactive feel.
Yeah. What's so impressive also is just the, oh,
What happened?
did I get kicked off?
Something happened.
Something, yeah.
Pat's sharing a screen.
Oh, Pat scared the crap out of us.
Oh, he's sharing. Okay. Oh, yeah. What I was saying was that the rooms, I mean, obviously the specimens are the show, but even their displays and how much work they put into setting up their rooms, it's amazing. It doesn't look like a hotel room.
Yeah, it's kind of mind-numbing when you realize what they're bringing in and what they're setting up. Like I said, the length of the show, it's about a month. I mean, there's like a week, a dealer week before it opens up to the public. Then there's the public show, and then it extends. And I mean, down to the closing weekend, I'm trying to strike deals with people. But when you're there and you walk into the hotel room, they have the bed shoved against the wall vertically, and every square foot in that place is full of glass shelves and lighting and just mind-numbing minerals, rocks, meteorites especially. But yeah, just the amount of work that goes into literally a pop-up store in a hotel room. And I'll speak for Dustin Dickens. I mean, it's a lot of work. It's very expensive, and they want you to sign on for a certain, like, 3-week period. So he quite literally just has a bedroll and sleeps on the floor.
Wow. Didn't he also bring the XRF machine? Didn't he have one there? And
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
the XRF is basically a like an X-ray machine, a handheld X-ray, or basically it's a tabletop X-ray machine, but it X-rays for chemical analysis. And I'm giving a really piss poor explanation of what it is, but you basically shoot a beam at it, and it tells you what minerals and what the composition is down to the hundredth of a percentage. So when you're looking at a sample and you hit it with that, and it comes back, you believe it's a chondrite, a stony meteorite, and it comes back without any iron or any nickel whatsoever, it's an instant toss. So it really helps find what it is. And that machine is quite expensive as well. I don't want to name prices because I'm not exactly sure. It's more than I would want to break and have to pay back.
A handheld XRF gun's about £40,000.
Yeah.
So that would be what, $55,000, something like that.
Yeah, I was about to say I believe the unit there was about 20 to 25,000 for the tabletop version. But yeah, that was that belongs to Dustin Dickens of Top Meteorites, and great friend of mine. He brought it to the Meteorite Mansion and put it there, and trained Pat Brown on how to use it. And Pat Brown was our XRF technician for about 4 days. So that's just extra little things that are cool about the Meteorite Mansion. That was neat. Another thing that was kind of unplanned, we planned a conversation. We had a guest speaker who's actually staying at the house, Raymond Borjas. He went and hunted Costa Rica fall, the most recent, really super important scientific carbonaceous fall, Aquazarcus. Aquazarcus. So he was there, and he did a lecture on that. And so we invited people to come in and attend that lecture. It was really a great. He did a great job on it. But most nights we had other people, when they shut down their sales booths, they didn't want to go back to their hotel room, or they didn't want to. They've been in that hotel room for a month sleeping next to their rocks. They wanted out. So we said, come by our place, man. Come by the Meteorite Mansion. We have a fire pit going. We have microscopes. We're cutting stuff. Yeah, there's cold pizza in the fridge.
Yeah, there was a particular interest in the microscopes too. I brought a polarizing transmitted light microscope for looking at thin sections. But the microscope that got the most use was a Wild M8 true binocular microscope that I had set up with reflected cross-polarized light, which cancels out it's all light impinging on the sample from the top, but the light is polarized in one plane and you're looking in another plane, so that all the surface reflections are nulled out, and you get to actually see down into the surface a little bit, especially with there's a new CV3 that's got a bunch of really strange chondrules that contain a lot of glass, and you can see right down into those chondrules with this technique. But I think the microscope light got turned on in the morning and got turned off in the morning.
Yeah. Late. Got turned on early, got turned off early. To talk about what you were saying, Pat, when you were talking about looking through and seeing into, we're talking about with the microscopes and taking out the reflected light, without looking, like right here down there. You see all this light, how it's interacting? When you take out all the reflecting light and you only have light coming from one direction, you polarize that light, that's when you get a truer image, and you can actually see literally into the rock a little bit. You can see past the desert varnish. So it was really interesting, and that's where I really first learned how to use my microscope. So yeah, that was a blast. Kyle, you were there, and you
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. You should definitely experience that. Pat's microscopes and Topher's are excellent. But what I was chiming in on was going to give Pat a hard time. Are you drinking out of a beaker there, Pat?
Yes, I am. It's not alcohol though. It's just water and water and an ice cube.
Here, let me have that. I'll pour this in there. There you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, I'd like to say, well, actually, I've said it before, Topher, but thank you for doing the mansion last year, man. It was a wonderful experience. Look forward to doing it again this year. Guys, if any of you guys who didn't make it, you should try. I made good friends, Pat, Fred, Michael Kelly, Cameron and his wife Jody. The list goes on. It was just a great and wonderful time, and definitely I think something that any meteorite collector, dealer, whatever you are, should check out.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was a lot of work and it was so worth it. Yeah, that's why I'm jumping on it again. I'm just not going to bite off more than I can chew this time. But yeah, it was a blast, and it was really nice getting to honestly know the people. To sit down and you sit by a campfire with someone, for 2 hours and share a drink, share a meteorite story or two. You know that person. You know that person pretty well. So yeah, it was a blast.
We're renting the whole neighborhood next year, right?
Yeah, meteorite crew represent.
Any opportunity for hunting?
There's really not.
Well,
Nothing out there.
There are some places. There's one dry lake bed that is apparently not always dry, and those things are slipperier than snot on a glass doorknob when they're not dry. They're just actually out in the desert there. There's a lot of there's not a lot of vegetation. You've got to make your way around all the cacti. But Stephen Amara, spent lots and lots of time hunting in New England. I think every morning when the sun came up, he was out there in the back, walking around hunting between the cacti. He didn't find anything, but I think there's a possibility there.
Oh, there is a Eucrite out there, isn't there?
No, we found the Eucrite and the Lunar. There is one small little chondrite hit out there. I did a little meteorite hunt for people, and I threw some meteorites out there. We found them all except one, but one gave us one eluded us overnight. We found it the next morning, and it was the 10-gram Lunar or something like that. So I was a little bit nervous, but not too concerned. It came from the desert. It found its way back to a desert.
So, from a collector perspective, did you get any guys get any new acquisitions lately?
Mike Kelly hooked me up with 2 of my birthday falls.
Nice. What's the birthday fall? When's your birthday?
May 22nd. He and I share a birthday, so mutual interest.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. John Humphrey's got me mine, August 21st. I can't remember how you pronounce it. Mount Hazard, or something. Mount, I can't remember what it's called. But August 21st, 92 it fell. That's always cool to get the birthday one. I like that.
I can't hear you, Dad.
These are the other 2 halves, Cameron.
Dad?
Oh, nice.
Where is it? Where is it?
I have something that is new, but it is not available yet because it's being classified by Mr. Daniel Shake himself. So I have all these right here separated, but I'm just going to show it off, spin it around a few times, kick the tires. I don't know if this one will ever be cut. I don't know if there's any need to cut it.
Oh.
This, here, let me hold the camera. Oops.
Diagonite?
That is a NWA Pallasite. Watch this.
A lot of olivine in there. Pretty.
I wonder how beautiful it would be. It'll be cut, but I really don't want to.
Mm-hmm. Let me go get mine.
Oops. Yeah, but there's like beautiful olivine in there. Yeah, so this is being classified right now, and pretty anxious because I only have 2 classifications right now, but this will be a Pallasite classification, which I think is pretty darn cool. I actually have 5 items being classified right now. Look
Nice.
at that huge olivine right there.
So some of these shapes are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Once they're cut, they're gone forever. Has anybody thought of doing 3D scans of these things and then making printed models?
There's a cutter. I think they Aeropostale or something like Aeropost. You guys know who I'm talking about, but I think he's the guy who did Thor's hammer.
Ego Spatami.
Oh.
Yeah. How do you say it again?
Ego Spatami.
Ego Spatami. He does.
Aeropostale was close though.
Well, his company name is different than his actual name, you moron. But what he does before he cuts his, like I saw him do one, and he did a complete 3D mapping of it, and then was able to see what the slices would look like after he sliced it, and was able to run several different options of how he wanted to slice it to best display the stone. But once it's 3D scanned and that data is captured, then it can be cut. And that's when Cameron Smith would take over with that data and do something, we hope. But Pat Brown has something going, so I'm going to highlight him real quick.
Ooh.
Ooh, a CAI, huh? That appears to be a calcium aluminum inclusion in a carbonaceous chondrite. But I think everyone on the chat knew that. Now we're getting dizzy.
Sorry. I had to unmute myself. Yeah, that I'll have to play with this some more offline to see if I can perfect it. But that's web camera through the eyepiece on. Yeah, this is a piece of Stephen Amara's
Barnstable?
CV3, and wow. It is really tough to hold the whole thing and get the camera to do the.
Yeah, and it's all reversed to go up or down. Yeah. Well,
yeah, I'll have to play with it some more. But yeah, that's the CAI from a CV3 that was just classified. We know, well, actually, just all the material been submitted. We don't know a number yet, but from the classifier, Daniel Sheik, it's a reduced CV3.
It's oxidized.
Oh, sorry, oxidized.
The number I have, I just the editor needs to put it into the database. It's already approved by all the 9 members. It just needs to be put in. So hopefully in a week or 2, it should be in.
Okay.
Here is another piece of that Pallasite. And I think you guys will see the wow factor in this one.
Love the natural hull also. Yeah,
Look at this.
that's so cool. Ah, look at that.
Yeah, a double natural hole.
Mm-hmm.
I could probably sell this to someone and then have it sold back for 25%. Making fun of our friend in Chicago who loves little holes. Yeah, but this is.
Can't cut that one.
What's that?
Can't cut that one.
No. This is the one. I was confused. This is the one that I'm not cutting. The other one is the main mass, and that's gonna get cut. But this is the one I meant to bust out originally. Telling you, I'm not gonna cut it. This is the one that you can't improve on nature. Even the back is beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful big crystal sticking out there.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually contacted today by someone who saw the video, one of these videos on YouTube, and I don't think he knows me from Facebook. So it may be a new meteorite fan. So we're actually doing some good here, sharing this out with people, because as we can see on eBay and Facebook, some people have no idea what a meteorite is or looks like.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was pretty neat. So that's one item that Daniel is classifying for me right now. People, we can work on Stephen Amara. Invite him to these things and then tell him that we want him to be a guest speaker for Barnstable. Barnstable.
Has he been part of the group? He's been in, right?
Yeah, but not as much. I don't know if the timing's not as well for him. If I have to, I'll schedule around him. Because Stephen Amara is a personal friend of mine. We've slept together in Tucson. Hey, anything to save money in Tucson, and if we can secure all of our meteorites in one room and lock that one room, good. But Stephen Amara did a amazing job. He did a cold find Massachusetts, 27 kilo, I don't know, something like that. It's massive. Barnstable was the name, and it's the largest. Is it the second largest or the largest meteorite from Massachusetts ever? So I would love for him to come and be a guest speaker and talk about the tenacity and the attitude it takes to be a successful meteorite hunter, because it can happen, and he proves it.
He also does some pretty darn good cutting as well. I think having him do a live cutting video during one of these meetings would be incredible.
You are 100% right. He has a very nice blade, and besides his eye for rocks, he has a very good cutting setup and does some really phenomenal thin and even cuts. So yeah, that's my goal, is to work on him to get him in here as a guest speaker. A cutting demonstration would be amazing to have, and then maybe a second visit for Barnstable. And that leaves an open invitation for Pat. Once you get your technical issues down, we'd love to have a microscopy microscopy. Oh my word.
Yeah. It's microscopy. Yeah.
I'll drink for you.
Talking
I'll play around.
Cutting. Do any of you use wire saws?
No. I just
There-
use a lap.
There are a couple of 3 guys, Marcin Simla in Poland, and then another fellow named George in Bulgaria, who have built their own wire saws and do some absolutely stunning cutting with extremely fine wire and get quite amazing flatness and
It's
finish
just that
right off of the saw.
our department is buying one over the next
Oh.
couple of months, but it's mainly to cut salt crystals, to look at fluid inclusions in salt crystals. But
Right.
since it's going to be in my cutting lab, then I'll probably use it on a few microscopes. So I've got a few bits and bobs lying about, which are quite ugly samples that I'd like to cut, but they're so small. Using a blade would I'd just lose a lot. But a really
Yeah.
fine wired wire saw would probably do the trick and give me some nice slices.
Bits and
Alcohol
bobs.
or dry?
The wire saw of the micro collector.
There we go. That is wild. God, if I could get away with that, man.
I hope that's not what I've paid 20K for.
Donald, I know you just mute yourself. I'm going to ask you to take you off mute. I saw your lab, saw some equipment. What exactly do you do, my man? Because you
I up till about 2 years ago ran an electron microprobe. I've run one since 1983 in the University of St Andrews in Scotland. The machine broke down, and because our department kind of changed direction to more climate science, we kind of didn't need a microprobe anymore. So I then went on to doing drone flying. I do a lot of work in Africa and Tanzania and places like that, more archaeology. But now we're getting a new probe in January, so I'm back on the probe again. So, but I make a lot of thin sections, general geology type work, basically.
Hopefully, I'll get something that eats these.
Yeah.
It's like 1,700 meters, I think.
Wow. Cool.
is that wire saw material?
Yeah, it's
what diameter? What diameter is that?
What's the diameter, Mike?
You're on mute.
He's muted.
Yeah. Muted Mike. All right. Well,
yeah, I'll have to get back to you on the diameter.
okay.
I picked that up of a guy who was selling lots of them for spool by weight.
So you have your own saw?
My goal is to work on putting one together.
Okay, cool.
I have a challenge. I have 2 items that I want to see if this eclectic crowd can ID. This is the first one. And there's a hint on this side. What meteorite am I holding?
Is it new?
It's new.
Has it got Tuto?
Nope.
Viñales.
There you go.
No, Viñales.
Viñales pre-rain. There's no oxidation in there whatsoever. Viñales fell in Cuba February 3rd, a year ago.
Yeah.
And this is a great example because it has soil stuck to it still. Let me zoom in a tiny bit. There we go. Yeah, it's got soil stuck to it and some nice fusion crust. So
Ready?
that's item 1. That is 42 grams. Now, oh, it fell February 1st. I'm sorry. My son's birthday is February 2nd. And I know it's one day off, but I don't know which day off it is. Now, here is the mystery item. Where is it? That I want to see if this group can ID. I would be extremely impressed. But we have the technology and we have the people.
Flip it.
First off, is it
Coarse
terrestrial?
grain sugarcite.
Is it terrestrial or extraterrestrial?
Martian.
It is not.
Not Martian?
It's not even extraterrestrial.
Oh. It's from your backyard.
It is nope. It is a terrestrial sample. And that's what it is.
Don't magnetite.
That's a really weird combination of minerals, actually.
Doesn't it look like Mars?
It does.
That
Like one of the coarse grain sugarcites.
Yep, exactly. I paid $800. No, I didn't.
Where's that from?
Wow. Pochuk.
What, Reading?
Where's that? Reading prong?
Yeah, I have no idea, and yeah, doesn't have any. Yeah, so I thought that was really neat. I wanted a sample of a terrestrial that supposedly had same formulation as a Martian.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big problem with identifying the igneous meteorites, that there are igneous analogs here on Earth that are so similar. And of course, everybody finds a green rock and they think they've got a sugarcite.
Says that's from New England. Reading prong.
And then here's the other, the real one. That's the poikilotic, laherzitic sugarcite. Oh, I'm not even showing the right camera.
Not showing.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, let me try that again. So this is the poikilotic sugarcite, and from what if I recall correctly, the poikilotic talks about the multi-textures, and the laherzitic talks to the size of the grains. But when you put them side by side,
Wow.
they have a pretty,
Similar.
and especially when you consider that this looks nothing like a normal sugarcite, because the normal sugarcite has longer grains in it like this one has. So yeah, you could really get easily fooled with a terrestrial piece that looks like Mars. And I think on the last Hangout, I did an example of terrestrial material that really looked like lunar.
I think you posted that also on Facebook as a challenge question too, right?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Well, I didn't actually do it as well, the first one was a challenge because I knew that one was terrestrial, but I literally had two others that I didn't know. We found them I bought them in Tucson at the bottom of an NWA bin. You have to move all the rocks that everyone else is too lazy to move to get to the gold that fell to the bottom. You know, so I went for the little 3 and 5 gram things on the bottom of this kilo bucket. And I found 3 that I thought, man, these have a really good chance of being lunar, or at least they're not chondrites. I know that for a fact. So what they are, I don't know, but you know, when you're buying in bulk and you put them all down and they're 30 cents a gram and it could be worth, you know, $50 a gram, you got to take that gamble. So we took them back to the Meteorite Mansion. We cut them. We put them under the microscope, and Pat gave me the old head noggin. Like, nah, I don't think so. So that's one thing I hate about Pat. He lets science rule over what I want.
Well, talking about sugar type before, I got this today from Sean Tudoro. I'm sorry I don't have another camera, but this, hopefully, I don't know, I'll put it up if it's coming in. I think it's coming in all right. You see it at all?
Back off a tiny bit.
Yeah, I'll push it back. Get a different angle. It's NWA, it's a 6963. I'm a smaller budget guy, so I could get what I could get,
but you're holding the planet Mars.
Holding Mars.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. It never gets old, you know. It never gets old to me when, you know, when I hold a piece of Mars, or
love the case too. That case is really cool.
Yeah. I sell these. They're very inexpensive. I don't use them for Pallasites, obviously, but something like this, it's absolutely perfectly fine. Yeah. So, let's see here.
Very cool.
I have a very unique Martian specimen. It's not big at all, but it is LA1.
Ooh.
So this is only one of, now, is it one of 2 U.S. Martians because LA1 and LA2, or is there another Martian United States?
No, there's just LA001 and LA002.
Okay. So total of under 700 grams total known weight on this one. And it ain't much, but there it is. The only Martian to have supposedly and in theory come down in America.
It's bigger than my spec.
Yeah, 0.12 grams. But the thing is, there's a lot of people that are, because you know, we always talk about provenance, and as collectors and dealers, provenance is super important. Bob Varnish will actually sign a letter. If you buy from him, he'll actually sign a letter, and like that would be golden. I have provenance with this. Oh, and by the way, interesting fact I just taught myself: it's the 14th Martian ever. So the first American and the 14th Martian ever. That's pretty cool.
So how many are there right now? Total 200? Is that right? Or is that way too high?
In the 60s or the 70s, at least.
Oh, okay.
Dr. Tony Irving from University of Washington, Seattle has classified 40 or so himself.
I think
Guys, there's Lafayette too. Don't forget about that one.
Yeah, I was forgetting about that one, Lafayette.
Is Lafayette a Martian?
Yeah, Nacolite Fall.
Wow.
If you ever get to the Smithsonian, it's the piece they have in Smithsonian, the flow lines on it, ridiculous.
I'm gonna have to check that out, man. This is my personal piece of Mars. This is just over 6 grams.
Ooh, wow.
But what's really nice about it, really nice, is the entire side of crust.
Wow.
It's very rare to have a crusted Martian. I've seen a good amount of Martians, and to actually, it's so friable. So when it does hit the ground or in the sky, when it fragments late in dark flight, it's not going to have any more fusion crust. It's very friable material as well. So I'm really happy with this to have my own personal 6.5 gram full side crusted Mars sugartite. And then see if you have any on your fingers when you're done. No.
Okay, so maybe I need to get some clarification on something. When I just go into MetBull, if I put in Martian in text, there's over 200 responses that come back, but that doesn't necessarily mean that there are 200 different finds, correct?
Many of them are paired.
Got it.
Let's see. Yeah, I just did a search on Martian for classes, and it said 268 records.
Okay. You see that also.
But like you said, a lot of that is either it's not officially paired, but it's paired material, where you have 3 or 4 hunters find material in the same strewn field from the same meteorite, and it goes to market through 3 different channels. 2 of those people classify, 1 doesn't. Well, now you have 2 NWA numbers, but really 3 you know what I mean? So it's kind of confusing. It's kind of it'd be better if we could have better data to send to the universities, to the NOMCOM, the nomenclature committee, of where exactly the stuff was found. Because if
there's 11 from the same place in Oman, so that's the same meteorite. Even though there's 11.
Yeah, Oman is a tiny little strip of dirt. You know what I mean? What's the odds they're going to have 11 Martians all fall right there when the United States has had 1? Well,
yeah, it's about conditions and age of the surface, and there's a bunch of other factors as well. But that area you're describing has also been extremely prolific for lunar meteorites as well.
And just to prove that size isn't everything, and Mike Kelly, you have nothing to worry about as a micro collector, let me show you my smallest sample in my collection. It's right there.
Augite basalt?
Yep. The only Martian augite basalt. 8159. The only one. Yeah. So this was, I'm super happy. This was I thought I had it written on the back, but this was a personal gift from Sean. Thought it was really nice of him to do that for me.
Talking about micros, I'm sure most of you have seen the stuff that John Larson does, where he goes about on roofs and picks up all these 50 micron, 500 micron sized meteoritic material. You had a look at any of his stuff?
Yeah,
some of you can
those
actually go out with a
are
magnet yourself and pick it up.
micro-meteorites. Yeah, it's I've done a few of those experiments when I lived in Eastern Washington. I had a shop with a metal roof that had about 48 foot by 20 feet, 25 feet, and then another piece lower than that all drained down one drain. And I had a bucket under it for years, and then did a magnetic separation, and found lots of really cool round things, but no nickel in them.
Yeah,
Put 'em
the
in
trouble is, I mean, a lot of
sand
these
that work.
things are going to be fly ash. I mean, I got really excited because I got the roofing people for some of our university buildings to collect stuff from the gutters and the roofs. And I found
Yeah.
hundreds of these things, and I was getting really excited until I realized that 50 years beforehand, there had been a blacksmith's place there, right next door.
Right.
I had put all this fly ash into the atmosphere.
Right. Well, my
I've found one or
workshop
two.
was heated with a steel barrel stove, and there are bits of it that get hot enough to make cool little round things that go out the exhaust, land on the roof.
If you're anywhere near a power station as well, a coal-fired power station, that'll produce millions of them.
Yep.
Hey guys, I got to run. It was great listening and talking to you guys. I'll see you soon. Okay.
Absolutely, buddy.
See you,
Thanks for
Mike.
hanging out with us, Mike. Take care, bud.
Cheers.
See you.
You rock, man.
You too, bud.
Yeah, John Larson does some really good photography, micro-photography or micro-meteorite photography and photo stacking. And also Scotty Peterson does really good stuff. He just did an example today of a moth's eye, and he did 170 photo stacks together. Each photo is at a tiny bit different focal distance. When you stack them all together in one, it gives you the total depth of image, full focus. And he did that side by side with a single photograph at a single focal point within that 170. And it was just amazing the clarity that the stacked photos give you, but damn, that's a lot of work.
We've actually got a piece of kit in our department called a Keyence microscope, which actually does all this automatically. So you can program the Z direction and the X and Y direction, so you can take a photograph of a whole thin section, very much like what the guy who was on 2 or 3 weeks ago was doing for photographs of whole thin sections. A very expensive piece of kit, though.
Yeah, we had one in our an 8000 series one in our failure analysis lab at work. I retired just a couple of years ago, but I used it very extensively. Extremely easy to use for focus stacking. I didn't have to do a lot of stitching together of panoramas, but did a lot of focal stacking, and it'll also actually even build you a little 3D model that you can grab and rotate and such.
I mean, the lenses you can get on this, I mean, up to 5,000 magnification, you're getting your SEM levels for light photography, which is superb.
Right, yeah. And you know, at 5000x, the depth of field is you know, a few microns, and so it's only with that focal plane stacking that you get any that you can get photographs of that sort of realm.
But it's the sort of thing you can just let it run overnight, you know, and just go away and leave it.
Yep. Yep. Olympus have a new microscope that's similar to the Keyence, except that it will do that over a wider area. This oxidized CV3, there's another one of the fellows has bought a couple of slices of it, has done some focal plane stacking work over a large area and made some pretty impressive images. And it's from his lab at work. The Keyence microscope that we had in the failure analysis lab was about $80,000 with the
yeah, I think
with the lenses and
I think we paid 70,000 plus. You have to pay more for extra lenses as well. I think.
Right. Yeah, we had 3 lens packs for ours, and the guy who specified them specified all the polarizers as well for the thing.
Yep. I think the lenses we've got, they're only, I mean, on the Keans, the polarizer is actually fixed on the bottom. You can't rotate the stage, obviously, but the actual analyzer at the top, which gives you cross polars, is just something you slip in. So they're quite simple little bits of kit.
Yeah, they're actually not terribly expensive. There's I was the one who wrote the justification for the thing, and the polarizers were only a few $100.
Yeah.
But we basically got all of them, and when you're looking at defects in gold plating, very small defects in gold plating for contact fingers and such, having the ability to do that reflective cross polarized light is a big deal.
That's cool.
Yeah. The company that I work for, the big test equipment company, they went and chased cheap labor by having all of their manufacturing done in Asia. And
yeah, we've got a couple of guys who are trying to modify our machine and put lasers on it so they can do luminescence at different wavelengths. They haven't been particularly successful at it yet because they have to put different filters into the lenses themselves, and that's actually quite a difficult thing to do.
Right.
Hey, Cameron?
Yeah, and they've got some new model microscopes that are really quite awesome. The one that I used up there is probably 6 years old now.
Hey, Cameron, we if you can't comment on this yet, I fully understand, but we were talking about 3D modeling of meteorites earlier. Is that something you can continue talking about, or should we mum's the word for now?
I mean, I can't talk about what I have coming up, but as far as 3D printing goes, Travis Howard would be the only guy I know with a 3D printer. Our specialties are more in the mold making and casting department.
Okay. Because I've seen some of your work, and it's spectacular.
Well, thank you. But yeah, stay tuned. It's man, I wish I could show you.
Yeah. Well, that's why I preface it by saying, hey, if you can't talk about it, I understand, but I figured I'd bring it up because it's something I'm interested in myself.
Yeah.
Oh, what is
just out of interest? Oh, sorry.
Wow.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah. So reading between the lines. Now, that is beautiful.
Is that the Venus stone?
You're muted.
No, the Venus stone is definitely much more pronounced in the center.
More nose cone. Okay.
I think a little larger. This one, well, I bought it at the Meteorite Mansion from Matt. I don't have the name right here in front of me, but this is a cast, not 3D, old school.
Is that the one that
cast.
fell in the UK? The Middleborough?
Yeah, I want to say Middleborough or Middle. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Middlesbrough. Yeah, Middlesbrough.
Yeah, Middlesbrough.
Okay.
There it is. Yeah, that's beautiful, man.
And it's a gorgeous cast. It's the color and the texture and the mass of the thing are all quite convincing looking.
Yeah, I want something like that.
Yeah. Also got a cast.
Hey, Topher.
Yes, sir.
There was a guy, I got to look him up. There was a guy down, I think it was South America somewhere, that he was doing some 3D printing, like the Bondoc meteorite that was in the museum when it burnt down. Mm-hmm. He had made like a little model of that. I remember seeing that posted on Facebook a while ago. It was really cool, like to scale. Dang. Off of, I guess, 3D scan information he was able to get.
Yeah, because there's no way I'd be able to afford a stone like that one, that oriented, that beautiful. So I may have to settle for a cast. I was It's kind of funny. I was at ASU with Dr. Garvey, and on one of these filing cabinets, a metal filing cabinet, was this massive iron meteorite. And you know, Dr. Garvey he's a spry young man, but the way he lifted this iron meteorite and tried to hand it to me, I knew right away it was not a real meteorite, but it was so convincing. And he puts all the English in it, you know, trying to hand it to me, and I take it. I'm just like, when literally it should be like 50 to 70 kilos. But even ASU has molds that have been, you know, painted up, and they use them for, you know, for teaching as well.
Yeah, there's a number of them in museums as well.
Yeah, it's the only way we get to see something like that every once in a while, like those really super oriented ones. This is a nice Mesosiderite. What's nice about this is NWA 12949. This is actually Peter March and Craig Lyman are the main mass holder of this, and I got this from Craig himself. So I like having it directly from the main mass holder. But these are really, really detailed and complex. Like the more you look at it, the more you zoom in and magnify and look at it under a microscope, you realize how much is going on in there.
Topher, what are they called?
This is a Mesosiderite.
Do you sell them?
Yep. This one right here is 9.6 grams for 90 bones. Yeah, they usually a sliced Mesosiderite usually runs you about $10 a gram.
That's like, those are the kinds that I really like.
Yeah, and I have smaller ones too if you're just looking for a little sample of one. But yeah, I really have gotten into enjoying Mesosiderites. Yeah, here are the other little small ones I have, but still, you can see even through the bag, it's gorgeous. Yeah, so
I love it.
they're so complex, and they're supposedly 50-50. So they have even mixes of silicates and olivines. Yeah, so that's one type of meso, and then this is another one. This is Vaca Muerta, and these have a this is a different class of meteor of Mesosiderite. I believe this is an A1, but you get different mixes of metals in them, or different densities of metals, I should say. That middle one is pure metal, and these are little end cuts. Yeah, these have Blaine Reed provenance. Blaine has been in the game for a while. He's in Colorado now, I think. Yeah, but different looks to mesos. Oops. Oh, did I have myself highlighted all that time? Gravy. Yeah. So this is the meso I was talking about. You can see the middle one has a lot of tight metal. And yeah, like Bondoc is another one that you can get a bunch of different looks at. It does not all slices look alike in Bondoc. Yeah. Does anyone know the history or a little bit of the history behind Bondoc? From the Philippines, I think. Yeah, from what I understand, the entire fall or the entire find was ruined because they soaked it in water. They just put the whole thing in water, and it just started all falling apart and just garbage. But it all went through ASU. So if you have a piece of Bondoc, it eventually came from ASU. Where's mine?
There's a couple of pretty impressive things in the meteoritical bulletin for the last week. Northwest Africa 13309 is an LL 3.15, very, very low, very primitive chondrite. There's 5.6 kilograms of that one. And there's a lunar feldspathic breccia that actually has a name, Tisserlitine 001, that is 57.4 kilograms.
Wow. 50, how many kilos of lunar?
57.4.
Wow.
Like well over 100 pounds.
I wonder what type of lunar it is, whether it's going to be a dark lunar or if it's going to be like a beautiful, like 11274. That's just a beauty.
It's a feldspathic breccia, so it should be like 11273. Well,
yeah, 11273.
11273. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's what that looks like. I hope it is, because that is a beautiful, beautiful lunar. Here's a piece of it. Oh my God, that's the second time someone's knocked on my door since we started this. Excuse me, guys. Talk amongst yourselves.
So if there's that much lunar coming onto the market, are the prices going to drop?
Well, that happened last time that much lunar came on the market. This is another piece of
Oh, that's a beauty.
11273. But my hand per scale there.
Yeah,
Lunars still seem to be kind of down right now. They're not super high.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a gorgeous piece of a gorgeous meteorite.
Fantastic.
Yeah, this one was cut by Martin Sills in Montana on a wire saw.
Yeah, he's the master.
Yeah, he does really, really good work. This new Tisserlitine lunar was classified by Dr. Tony Irving, and main mass is held by A. Habibi and M. Arjadal. And looks like Daryl Pitt is in on that one as well.
What isn't he in on? Yeah. Yeah. Here's the example I was talking about a little bit, where within the same meteorite you can have different looks. So these are all Bondoc. It's a B4 meteorite, Mesosiderite. But on the very top one is your true normal looking 50-50. Then there's a proxylene nodule, which is basically just pure silica. Or I shouldn't say that, but it's not, there's no metal basically. And then there's a fully etched metal nodule. So even if you saw all three of these, you would never assume that they're the exact same meteorite. Just an interesting look at all three different textures or compositions to this one. That's Bondoc.
I love that top one.
Yeah, the top one. Yeah, the top one was really, really cool. But I love this to get a metal nodule slice rather than just a nodule itself. I was pretty happy with that. So that's my Bondoc family collection, if you will. Hey, we got Ron joining us. Ron Charlie, good to see you, bud.
How you doing, Topher?
Very well, man. Very
Yeah,
well.
I just got back from the grandkids, so getting in late.
Yeah.
Hello.
Well, we are definitely entertaining if you have anything you want to show or tell. So if you have any interesting stories or facts or any questions or anything you want to show off, that's kind of what we've been doing.
Don't get me started.
Well, we'd love to hear. You know, not a whole lot of us know you that well. So if you have a story or something you want to show off,
Oh, I can real quick show you what I've got in my collection. It's right here. I got to turn the camera though. Give me a second.
Hold on one second.
Let me just real quick, just point over there. I've been doing this about 8 years. Let me see. This is my collection. You see, I collect larger pieces. I was telling you the other day, not smalls, but I've got all them. I have some rares in there. I've got, it's getting kind of washed out. I'm trying to get some angle on this thing. I've got all the main ones. I just got a completely new Gibeon slice from Matt. What's his name? Mile High Meteorites. Oh, what's the guy's name? Anyway,
Mike Martin or Mike Miller.
Miller. But it was a completely melted Gibeon. It has none of the regular Widmanstätten pattern. It's completely messed up. It was really wild.
Is that the one with the like the surfboard swirl in it?
No, here, let me go grab it. I'll pull it over. Let's see.
Because I did see a Gibeon lately that had like a surf wave in the pattern, which was really interesting.
Well, it's this guy right here. I don't know if this video is good enough, but you can see there's no consistent Widmanstätten pattern. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's why I've got a couple that are normal. Let me see. Let me pull one up here. Let's see. Let me see. Down the bottom here. I got from Matt Morgan. It's a deformed Widmanstätten pattern, but it's due to, they're telling me it was heated and then it hit by multiple meteorites billions of years ago, whatever. But I saw this, I thought, oh my God, I got to have that in my collection.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was my latest piece right there.
Yeah. Normally in a Gibeon, you're going to see a lot more parallel structure.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to see that. That's a beautiful shot right there. You're not going to see that chaoticness, the explosiveness, the violence it went through.
Yeah, I've got a fairly big. Let me see. The other Gibeon is this one. It's actually an end cut. Bought this years ago. But this is what you would expect to see in a Gibeon. Yes. You know, the regular octahedrite, fine octahedrite. I don't know if you can see that okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mile High's Matt Morgan. Mike Miller is Flat Top.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's Matt Morgan. I bought a few things from him lately. He's got some good stuff. But yes, and on the back side is the exterior. That's why I got it, because you can see both the outside and the inside. And I've got another piece of Gibeon.
An end cut Gibeon with nice regoliths in it too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is. I got this from Jeff Notkin. My first year of collecting. He had a box full of these things, selling them for nothing.
Wow. Not anymore.
No, not anymore.
Wow.
Let me pull this aside a little bit. Look, it was my phone. But yeah, this is one of the better ones. I had to clean it up a little bit. It had a little bit of rust on it, but
yeah, that's nice patina.
Yes. So that's my Gibeon collection. I've got multiples of a few things, but these are some of the bigger ones. But now I've been doing this about 8 years. I actually got started. My wife got me started. Actually, it was a kind of funny story.
Your wife got you started? My wife
did.
tries to stop me.
We did. Well, now what happened one year? We were older. We didn't, for Christmas one year we were sitting there. What do you want? I don't know. What do you want? And so as a joke, because I've collected rocks my whole life. I've always been a rock hound. At the time I was probably 15. So I said, just as a joke, I said, buy me a meteorite. So she did. And what she got me was this guy. It's a Gebel Camille. This is my first meteorite.
Nice.
835 grams. And I actually took this to UCLA. What's the doctor that actually, pardon me?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I went to UCLA. They have a meteorite talk.
Lubin?
God, what was the guy's name? I'm forgetting things at my old age.
Dr. Alan Lubin?
It wasn't Lubin.
Oh.
But he's written up on the meteorite database. But I took this, I showed it to him. He says, "Oh, I analyzed that one." I said, "Yeah, I know. I read all about you." So this is my first one. And I've just kind of got hooked. So that's my, I've got a slice too. It's nondescript. It's just a flat, there's nothing in it. It's a taxite. But I've collected
Can I ask,
sure.
Where did you find your wife?
Pardon me?
Where did you find your wife?
Oh.
I want a wife like that.
Well, that was a blind date. So she found me. But she, she's been very understanding. So she goes, we've been to Tucson, I think 6 times now. So I spend a day and a half shopping. We spend 2 or 3 days touristing around. So while I go shopping, she goes shopping at the mall. So she's actually in the next room there. She's probably laughing at me right now. But she's been a good sport. I'm from Arizona, so it's like going home from Phoenix. And we like hiking around Tucson area. Sad to see what's going on in Mount Lemmon right now. That whole area is burning. It's just crazy. Yeah. We get those kind of fires here. I'm in California, Southern California. Last year, 2 years ago, we had a huge fire, just hundreds of thousands of acres. And it burned around, unfortunately it didn't get us, but it went all around us. They had one of these high-end car dealerships, those Lamborghinis, it was right in the path of the fire. They took all their inventory and put them in a warehouse somewhere until the fire was done. But crazy. It's a very populated area.
Yeah, right now in Phoenix, in Arizona, it's burning down in Tucson, Mount Lemmon, and then there's another fire up north as well.
Oh, really? Where? Flag?
Past the Globe area.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know Arizona well. I spent 22 years there till I, joined the service and left.
Yeah,
But,
and that thing's not contained. Yeah.
Yeah. But we've had a bunch of big ones here. The big surf fire a few years back. Oh my God, there's one that was almost got our house about, it must be 20 years ago, 15 years ago. We live in a suburb of LA called Simi Valley. It's kind of hilly country, a lot of snow trees, a lot of dry brush. So there was a fire that actually started down towards San Diego. And there was another fire that started up here, and they merged, and they burned completely around us, just in a big circle. We tried, my mother-in-law was living in a trailer park close to us. We tried to get her out, but she wouldn't leave, so we got my son's dogs out of their house. I mean, it was just crazy. But we've had some close calls. We
had to call, not all of us, but Pat had to call the Holbrook hunt short during one of the fire rounds. He got the call, the neighborhood's evacuating. He's like, I gotta go, guys.
Well, we were, Santa Rosa area. We had one big fire. I don't remember which one that was. It was 2 or 3 of them that merged together, but destroyed 2,500 houses and killed 200 or 300 people.
Yeah,
and that one came within 2.5 blocks of my house in 2 different directions.
Yeah, that big one we had
I
came
was
about
out
2
there.
blocks from my house.
Yeah, I was out there watching baseball size burning things going
Yeah.
sideways.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, what saved us was there was a new housing division going in at the time, and they had clear cut, or, cleared the brush of about a quarter to a half mile back, and so the brush was clear. So that was a buffer between us and the snake. There's a huge neighborhood down here. I mean, hundreds of houses. But if that hadn't been cleared, we probably would have been burnt. Everybody's got pine trees in their backyard, and they go like crazy.
And the one in Northern California is actually human caused.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one in Santa Rosa was caused by Pacific Gas and Electric. They
oh yeah,
didn't tension the high voltage lines, and
Yep.
they sparked together. And the sons of buzzards still haven't gone and fixed the problem. They've given their executives multi-million-dollar bonuses, but they haven't fixed the reason that fire started. So they're now telling us, well, this time of the year, it's the new normal, and just got to get used to it. And
wow,
criminal.
Wow.
Hey, Kyle, did I see that you had something you were trying to
Yeah,
show?
I was trying to get this camera going here. Let's see here. Where's the thing? Okay, I got a question for you guys. Let's see. Let's see if I can get that into focus. Well, not doing that well. Let me clean the lens right quick. Okay, that's a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
That's much better, yeah.
Okay, now, the whole term slickenside, does that look like what you guys would define as that?
Yep. Turn the rock around real quick and show us the rest of the rock.
Okay. Now, it's got multi-sides to it.
Oh, nice.
Is that was that naturally broken there?
Well, yeah, no, this is all natural. There's no cut anywhere on this. This is how I got it, how it was found. Now I'm going to show you, here's where it was, broken there. And, but it was a very interesting piece, and I was able to get it for a very reasonable price. And I thought it had a lot of interesting characteristics. And the one that really got me the most was this potential slick and slide there. Now, my understanding is that that was more likely potentially happened in its parent body rubbing there more than it did in the asteroid belt or wherever, but I'm just not sure. I'm not finding a lot of information on that. And I wanted to pick you guys' brains to see if anyone had any more true knowledge on that. Because from what I understand, this is a pretty good example of what that looks like. And I've looked for examples, but I just wasn't, not finding a lot.
Yeah, that's definitely slickensides. When we cut meteorites into slices and we see black shock veins in those sliced faces, what those really are is cutting across a plane of shock, and the rest of the shape of that meteorite also is very indicative of shock features that cause the large planar fractures. And you can argue about whether it was something in the that happened in the asteroid belt along in the lifetime of the parent body, or one very common explanation that's given is that to get from the asteroid belt to an Earth crossing orbit, it takes a fair amount of energy to do that. But yeah, that absolutely looks like slickensides, and the very angular faces on the other parts of the rock are very consistent with that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Here's
Especially,
another.
yeah, and then also you consider the slickness, the shininess of it. It doesn't look like desert varnish at all, and that is a naturally cleaved side, so that would fit in with the hypothesis that it is a planal shear.
If Topher, you could make this up. Here's another interesting thing I found a while back, just before the, and I say found it at a mineral show. It's just an ordinary chondrite fragment, but very uniquely broken.
You can kind of pick whatever way you want to display it.
Yeah, no, I thought it was a pretty little example of retinoglyphs. I'm pronouncing that correctly there. And, like you say, it displays pretty well. So anyhow, those are my 2 shares for this evening. Thank y'all, Pat, for your input on the slickensides there.
Let's see here. I have something that was given to me. Well, not given to me. This belongs to Juan Pablar, who is with Jurassic Dreams. There is a massive piece of it. Oh, Jesus. Here it is. So this is the big hunk right here. And he's getting it classified right now. But I gotta move this. It's too big. Okay. So here is the piece that we can examine. I'd like to get anyone's opinion on what it is, because what he submitted it for is kind of a rare one. Do you?
Well,
I don't know.
There's a lot of porosity there, which is pretty interesting.
And there's metal, but not a.
Chondritic.
Yeah, it's definitely chondritic. I mean,
I think that's going to be an H3 with maybe some extra weathering.
I don't know what an ensign state looks like, but this was submitted as a potential ensign state.
Enstatite, yeah.
Enstatite. But not having had a large piece of one myself, I'm not really sure. But I got to send it to Spain anyway. That's why I have it out right now. Now that shipping is back open, I can actually get this back to the owner. But yeah, I don't know what it is, but I took off on 2 little slices off of here for myself. If you store a meteorite at my house for 6 months, I'll probably take off 10 grams. No, I had his permission to take. He actually gave me this whole thing, and I was like, "There's no way. Not if it's an enstatite. There's no way." And I'll take a slice off, but that's about it. But yeah, I don't know what this is. Looks really weird on the outside, but I don't know if that's even caliche. I don't even know what you call that. It's just
desert varnish, maybe.
But yellow orange, like mustard.
Yeah, that's more caliche and corrosion. Desert varnish is actually really quite thin.
Yeah, it's also very dark.
Gray, glassy.
Yeah.
Sort of look. Yeah, I just looked at a few pictures of Sahara 97096 with white chondrules in it.
It does have a little bit of porous little vesicles. I'm not sure. So that's just something I've had in my house since Tucson, and I'll be able to finally get it back to its rightful owner in Spain. Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyone have something they want to throw up there?
Topher, I have this. You recognize this?
Oh yeah, little Mooney in the house.
I like that little piece. I don't know why the lighting is horrible in my room, but I have a couple other things, but I am hesitant to show it because this is a meteorite group. One is a historical piece, and the other one is just a fun piece, but they are not meteorites. So I'll leave that up to you, Topher, if you want me to show it or not.
Man, this is a free hangout, dude. Let's see what you got. We were doing all kinds of space signatures and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, go for it.
I just got these both in. Well, I got the one in yesterday, and then the one in a few days before. There's a diver that his name is Dick Barton, and he's the former vice president of RMS Titanic. And he led all 22 expeditions down to the Titanic to do like the research and recovery. He opened up 250 packages that you could purchase if you want, and actually is like the only time you can ever own a piece of the Titanic. Other than like, I think they sell coal and stuff that fell from the Titanic, but like to actually own a piece, it's never been done, but he is like the rightful owner of these pieces. So he opened up 250 limited edition things. So I'll show you. I'm trying my hardest to get it so you can see, but it comes in this like really nice box here. It's from White Star Lines.
That's sweet.
It's direct from Dick Barton himself. Comes with his COA, and he personally signed the bottom of it. Let me see. Let's see if I can hold this up for you. Are you familiar with the big piece of the Titanic? You ever see, like in the exhibit, they show you the one massive piece that they brought up from the Titanic? You can go visit it. I forget. I think it's in California, maybe. But it's just a massive piece of the Titanic. It's the only one they've ever been able to actually bring up. This is a piece of it. Small,
is it in California?
But I think it's in, or no, it's in Las Vegas.
Oh.
In Las Vegas. I'll do my best here, but that's a piece of the what they call the big piece of the Titanic. It's the hull of the ship.
Dang.
Let me see if I can get a better shot of it here for everybody. My lighting sucks. There you go.
That's
so
cool.
That's a piece of the hull of the Titanic, which you could find little things like this called rusticles. It's like the rust that fell off of the pieces that came off of the Titanic when they raised parts of it. But this is an actual metal chunk of the hull. It's not. It has rust on it, obviously, for obvious reasons. But that's
interesting.
That's the Titanic. And let me see here. I got one more piece to show. Here's the big piece when they raised it, so you can see.
Wow.
So it came off of that, and this is just fun. One of my favorite movies. That is the actual piece of the orca ship from Jaws.
Oh man.
So I got a hold of the owner of the orca. She and her husband were asked to work on the movie because the movie flopped so much during filming. They had so much trouble that they got a hold of like these dock masters, Lynn and Susan, that their names were, a married couple, and they like begged them to like work on the film. And they did all of like the moving the shark back and forth and towing it behind the boat and stuff like that. And they operated the orca for everyone. And basically Steven Spielberg says they like saved the day, saved the whole movie, and obviously saved Steven Spielberg's career because it was his first film. But anyway, when it was over, they gave the orca to Lynn and Susan, and they had to cut it up into little pieces and bring it inside because when the movie became a blockbuster hit, everyone stole all the parts from the ship.
Jesus.
Everyone snuck onto their property and started ripping things off. So I connected with her and asked if I can, if there was a piece available, and she said yeah. So I bought this off of her, and I just made the plaque, and then this is her certificate of authenticity. It's the closest you'll get to like that's the best COA you can get when it comes to Jaws. Susan and Lynn Murphy have been like, they're in the books for Jaws, saying that they saved the entire film and everything with Steven Spielberg. That's all I had. Sorry for all the shaky camera work. My lighting is horrible here.
No, that's pretty cool, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a few signatures myself, but they're I don't, hold on. Oh, I guess I have to make it the main camera. Yeah. So up here I have Darth Vader's mask signed by David Prowse, the actor in the suit. And then Jeremy Bullock, Boba Fett.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
And there's him signing it right there.
Nice.
Yeah. So those are my two signatures, but yeah, Star Wars, man.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with Star Wars.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. Excuse me. Anyone have something they want to show off here?
No.
Oh, great. I'll tell you what, I sure do appreciate everyone's attendance. I definitely appreciate everyone joining us live. I hope everyone out in the YouTube land is watching this and enjoying it. Feel free to connect with me on YouTube. I'm sorry, on Facebook. Just Topherspin Meteorites, and you'll be able to connect with me. And anyone here on this chat can be reached the same way on Facebook. You can reach out to me, and I'll connect you. But really appreciate everyone joining us today. We had a real lively discussion and show and tell. My mad thanks to everyone.
All right. See you later.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Happy trails.